How's it going, everybody? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Welcome into the Jays Digest pregame show. Today we're going to be previewing the Jays versus the Detroit Tigers. It's set to get underway in around 25 minutes time. So we'll bring you the lineups, we'll bring you our bold predictions, and also maybe some rapid fire questions as well. So thank you all for joining in. Really appreciate the support that we've gotten, and I'm super excited to listen to this game. Unfortunately, we can't watch it, but I'm excited nonetheless. Baseball is baseball.
Yeah, the game isn't televised, as I'm sure a lot of you know, but we also have our post-game reaction for it. And
Yeah.
it's a bit of an interesting lineup, so let's just get right into it. We also have a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. update, which we'll also get into. Well, a bit unfortunate, but also can be seen as a fortunate thing for the Jays. Matthew Moore, welcome, and Matt as well, welcome. But let's just get right into it as we
What's
are
up, everybody?
20 minutes away from first pitch. Let's get into the lineup previews. Like usual, we do our lineup previews here, and it is honestly a bit of a better lineup than I originally expected for the Jays, considering the game's not being televised at all. You can have a look at it right here. We have Kiermaier, Jansen, Biggio, Berger, Lopez, Lucas, Capra, Bernard, and Sosa, with former Blue Jay and I guess former starter for the Blue Jays, Drew Hutchison, on the bump. Peter, is anything this lineup that you're excited to see before I go to the Tigers lineup? What's up, Emroy? Let's Get Gaming is back. Welcome as well.
Yeah, like you said, we haven't really seen a full lineup for the Blue Jays when the games aren't televised, but some notable guys in there like Kiermaier, Jansen, Biggio, Barger, Otto Lopez as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on this game and see how those guys perform. I'm excited to see if Biggio can keep up his recent hot stretch of performances. He leads the team in hits so far in spring training. He's tied at the top with Santiago Espinal. It's got to be attributed as well to how many games that they've played. They've been in there quite a bit. So I want to see if he can keep it up. Same goes for Otto Lopez. He's been swinging a decent bat. Addison Barger, ever since that first game, he's been a little bit quiet. So I want to see if he can get back to what he was doing early on in the spring. But yeah, pretty decent lineup for a game that we were not expecting to see one.
Yeah, and the storyline for this game, for me, again, is I want to see how Danny Jansen continues to play. But Addison Berger is kind of the big thing here.
Mhm.
There was a couple tweets. We might have a video on it coming up about how he might actually be able to break camp with the Blue Jays by a Blue Jays writer there. And Biggio as well has been playing very good. And Peter, someone asked, what's
Mhm.
the best way to listen to the game? I'll let you quickly
Yes.
answer that because I asked you the same question before the stream started. Michael Hanlon asking that question. For all you who do want to listen, Peter, you can let them know the best way.
Yeah, I was just gonna get to that question actually, Nick. So yeah, Mike, if you are if you are in Toronto or anywhere in Canada, I believe you can just go directly to the Sportsnet website, the Sportsnet 590 website, and you could listen in live. It's free to listen. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to subscribe to anything. And if you aren't in Canada, you could go on radio.net, I believe, and just search in the search bar at the top right corner Sportsnet 590, and you'll be able to find it there. So, plenty of ways to listen. And honestly, Ben Wagner does a great job on the radio. Very entertaining broadcast with him. He's usually got Ben Nicholson Smith as the color
Good
commentator and
insight.
Arden Zwelling as the sideline reporter. So, yeah, they do a great job over there. And one other lineup note that YSF is bringing up here. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we touched on it a little bit at the beginning. He will not be participating in the World Baseball Classic, which is unfortunate because obviously we know Vladdy's going to make the team. We know he's going to be hitting in the middle of the order. And having some meaningful at-bats in the World Baseball Classic, I feel would have helped him get into that 2021 form that we want to see him regain.
Yeah, obviously he's not in this lineup today, and this was a tweet from an hour ago, obviously saying he's not in the Blue Jays lineup, doesn't appear to be taking BP today, which he did have scheduled, and there was an MRI done, and it came back negative, no structural damage, just some soreness there, but he, like YSF said, he's officially withdrawn, which got released like 5 minutes before we started streaming, but yeah, he's not playing for the World Baseball Classic. What's up, Let's Get Gaming? Andy, what team do you want to win? Of course, the Blue Jays. And
It's not time to panic, by the way. It's not. It's just precautionary. I think. I think Vladdy really wants to prioritize this season, and he wants to play 162 games. So he doesn't want to miss any time. He doesn't want to jeopardize his season with the Blue Jays because he knows that this is a year where they could do something special and achieve something that they've been working for the past couple years. So I just think it's precautionary. It's not time to worry. The X-rays were negative, like Nick just said. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry if I were a Jays fan, but it does suck that we won't see one of the game's best players in one of the game's best tournaments.
Yeah, like you said, let's get gaming. Yeah, it's just inflammation, and now the question is when he will play again. I mean, I expect he'll be back within a week or so, back into spring training games, and it's not that yeah, it's not that it's necessarily a major injury, and that's why it's holding him out. You've seen it with a lot of other players just focusing on the season, and any bit of injury, you don't really want to, In the World Baseball Classic is they're not going to go light, like they're going to go hard if they're there, so that's part of the reason there. But
Of
yeah, he is
course.
out of the WBC. Um, yeah, and yeah. So also, in case last thing before moving on to the Tigers lineup, if you do, or you're able to listen to the game, we're gonna have a full recap of it in video form after the game, or maybe
Mhm.
towards the end of the game, recapping everything that we've listened to. If you are unable to listen, Carol, so we'll have a full. We'll let you know what's happening after the game in a video form. But let's get into the Tigers spring training lineup with Nick Maton, Matt Verling, Carpenter. We do get Miguel Cabrera, Parker Meadows, Cesar Hernandez, Andrew Lipsius, Donnie Sands, and Jermaine Palacios. So Spencer Turnbull on the bump. Do you have anything here that is interests you, or maybe any? Miguel Cabrera is kind of the big one, I
Yeah,
guess.
Miggy, pretty much. I mean, nothing else to look forward to in the Tigers lineup besides maybe Javier Baez when he's swinging a hot bat. But yeah, they're not going to be any good this year. I hope. I think this is going to be Miguel Cabrera's last season in the major leagues. I'm not sure if he confirmed that himself, but I did hear that somewhere. So be nice to see him go out with a bang, similar to what Albert Pujols did this season, last season with the St. Louis Cardinals. So yeah, I mean, it's just spring training. We won't even be able to watch it anyways, so it's fine. But I hope Miggy has a good season left in him, and he can go out on the high road there.
I'm sure hopefully there'll be like there was for last time some clips maybe of a Miggy hit.
Hmm.
And guys, make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy these game previews. Let's get a like spike so we can continue to provide these for you guys. Just shows how important the season is for the Jays. Matthew Moore with a question saying, I just put some cash down on the
Ooh,
Dominican Republic winning the
okay.
World Baseball Classic. Does this hurt the chances of them winning? I mean, I think they're still, obviously it hurts a little bit because they don't have Vladdy, but I think you'll still be good.
I think it does. It's not Vladdy that hurts their chances. It's them not having Framber Valdez and Christian Javier because they were originally scheduled to be number 2 and 3 in that rotation, and now it's just Sandy Alcantara and pretty much everyone else. So yeah, I think those are the big losses because now Rafael Devers is probably going to play first base, Manny Machado at third base. Their lineup is absolutely stacked. It was their pitching staff that was really, really good. And now they don't have Framber Valdez or Christian Javier. They do have a very good bullpen though with Yoan Duran, who's going to be in there. So it'll be interesting to watch that team. I'm very excited to watch them play. Puerto Rico, I'm very excited for, and obviously the United States and Canada too. Going to see Otto Lopez play shortstop. Desan
Desan
Brown is
Brown,
going to
yeah.
play some outfield, so it'll be fun. And Freddie Freeman, of course.
Yeah, let's get gaming saying buy as the Dodgers. There's rumors. That would be very, very interesting, especially now with the unfortunate Gavin Lux injury. And best wishes to him. But I guess we'll move on to the next topic now. Brian, I'll get to your question in a minute there. But we'll answer the next topic now, which is the rapid fire questions. And I came up with three pretty quickly, so they're going to be, they're all right. And Peter, I guess I'm asking you today for these
Okay.
and chat as well. Make sure to leave your answers. So this one's a pretty basic one. It's just what's one player that you're most excited to see next season? It can be a prospect as well. Just one player. If you had to pick one that you're not necessarily a breakout player, just one you're excited to watch personally.
This season
Correct.
or
Yeah.
or
This coming season. Yep.
hmm. I'd say Jose Barrios, just because I think he's gonna bounce back, and I was very excited when the Jays acquired him at the deadline in 2021, and I think he's got a bounce back season in him. So I'm very excited to see Jose Barrios. How about you?
Yeah, honestly, I was also gonna go with Brios, but I'm gonna go with Varsho's a really good one. I'm gonna say in the outfield. I'm gonna go with Kevin Kiermaier for me, simply
Okay.
because obviously he's amazing defender, but he's had such a good spring that if he can stay healthy, it's I don't know. I feel like he could do some things with the bat. That's what I think will happen there. No problem, Brian. But yeah, let us know who your excited players. I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of Dalton Varsho's because he's the kind of the biggest was the biggest splash. Chris Bassett's another interesting one to look out for, though he's
Hmm.
not super, I guess, exciting in the
He's
sense
not
of
flashy. No,
no,
he's not flashy,
he
but
isn't
he
at
gets
all.
the job done.
Is Barrios pitching today? No. Drew Hutchison is on the bump today, Mike. We're just asking the question of who's one player you're most excited to see. YK. All right. So next question. I'll answer all of them. We'll look at the chat for all of them at the end. But who do you think? So if it's a playoff game, so the playoff lineup, meaning by the end of the season, the proven lineup, obviously it'll fluctuate. Who do you think the starting second baseman is for the game one of the playoffs? Which is a question that it's hard to predict. It can even be a trade deadline acquisition. Yeah, Nicholas, we did touch on it. You can also go back in the stream as well, but he is out of the World Baseball Classic. We touched on it for the first probably between 3 and 8 minutes of the stream if you want to go back or check it afterwards. But yeah, who do you think starts at second base when push comes to shove at the end of the season for the
I
playoff
mean,
game?
that's impossible. That's impossible to predict because we don't even know who's going to start on opening day at
Yeah,
second
that's
base.
it's a
It's
tough
a
one.
toss up. There's a lot of depth at that position, but I think Whit Merrifield in a contract year, he's a proven guy. He's been an all-star 2 times in the league. Very good contact hitter when he's going right. So um, I'm going to go Whit Merrifield.
Okay, I'm also gonna go with Merrifield, but Let's Get Gaming makes a decent point saying depending on the pitcher. So I guess we'll say again. I'm gonna. I saw. I don't know if this is gonna be. Actually, I'll save it for the bold predictions for the bold prediction segment of the stream, which is Biggio. If it's lefty Espy, if it's a righty
Yeah,
Merrifield is probably the
maybe.
best bet with Biggio off the bench. Maybe we see some Addison Barger against a righty. Maybe that could be the. That was a tweet I saw today. If last season is any implication, it will be Witt. I
I
went
just
to
think Witt can get hot, like he's the type of guy he won't carry an offense, obviously, but he's the one guy that, has potential to be an impact bat in the lineup. Like as good as Espinal has shown that he is in flashes, I don't think we can rely on him to be a consistent hitter in the lineup. Like he's good in spurts. Like he's hot and cold. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he's an automatic out at the plate. So I think Whit Merrifield is the one guy that you can rely on for consistency at the plate. And when he gets hot, he's one of the better hitters in the lineup.
Let's Get Gaming saying Otto Lopez, which is an interesting one. That
Maybe.
honestly,
Yeah.
by the end of the year when playoffs time, I couldn't. I could see a case where maybe Addison Barger starts against a righty, which would be pretty crazy. But the final question now, which is about a pitcher, and we'll then before we move on to the bold predictions. But what do you predict? I guess you can just pick an exact number. You can do like an over and under. What do you predict Yusei Kikuchi's ERA to be at season end? And I guess a part B will be: do you think he gets how many starts do you think he gets to go along with that?
Okay, so I'm gonna go 3.9 ERA.
That was mine as well. Literally the exact same.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's nuts. That's nuts. So we've been really stealing our. Okay. I'll go
3.9.
3.8 then.
Okay.
3.8. Okay. 3.8, and I think he gets 23 starts.
Okay. That's fair. I was gonna go 20 starts with a 3.9 ERA, which is putting a lot of faith in 3.98 from Let's Get Gaming. Honestly, that seems like a number that would be very, very. I think he's close to 4. Matthew Moore with 4.27, which honestly would not be the end of the world
Yeah.
either.
I think that's what we want. We want a
Correct.
3.9. We want a 3.8, but realistically, I think low fours is probably what we can expect for Yusei Kikuchi. And we'll take that, you'll take that out of your fifth starter.
Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy. Hit the subscribe button. Daily J's content. Brian Taylor saying 3.75. 12-9 record with a 4.27 ERA. That could be honestly if we get anything below a 4 in the low fours would be fine I think for Yusei Kikuchi as a fifth starter. Anything above that, Matthew Jones with a lot of faith. 178 innings pitched, 24
178.
starts,
Wow. That's a lot
3.68.
of
Honestly,
innings.
if his spring training has been
It doesn't check out.
phenomenal,
Doesn't
but
check out. 24 starts,
tons of
178 innings.
complete games, tons of complete
He's
games.
going 8 innings every start
Full
there, or
faith,
what?
Matthew. I respect it. Eric Shepard is a game on TV. Eric, no, it is on radio, but we will have a full post game video for it covering the whole game in case you missed it. Because I know you guys really liked the last time the game wasn't televised and we made a video on it. So we're going to be doing that again. If they use in the right spots and it can be really good, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But let's move on to the bold predictions now for this game, Peter. We'll just do like one or two bold predictions before we move on to chat Q&A. And Brian, I didn't forget about your question. I will get back to it. But the bold prediction. Peter, what is your bold prediction for this game? And in case you're tuning in late, here is the starting lineup on the game that is not televised, only on the radio.
Oof. Okay. Wow. It's tough.
I'll
It's tough
start.
to
I'll
say.
start while I'll start
Okay,
while you're still
go
thinking.
for it. Go
I'm gonna
for
go
it.
with a
Go for it.
Winton Bernard triple and a Kevin Kiermaier home run. That is my bold prediction for today. Winton Bernard triple, Kevin Kiermaier home run. Leave your bold predictions for today's game in the chat.
Okay, Biggio goes 3 for 3 with 2 extra base hits,
Okay.
and Addison Barger gets a home run.
Okay. I think. Oh, Matthew Moore agreed with you with Addison Barger. Honestly, I think Addison Barger is due for a home run. He's obviously
Yeah, he's due.
super jacked. He's ready to go. 11 starts, 5.9 ERA for Zach Eldridge. No faith in Yusei. Their career high is a 4.41. Tough to expect anything better than that. It's a good point. We're hoping though. We're hoping he made some adjustments. Not tough to see a new career high for Kikuchi for year. How good the team is. Barger hitting a bomb today. So we have lots of people saying Barger's going to hit a bomb. I think Biggio's going to have a good game as well. He's been so great this spring training so far. It's been great to see.
I know Eric loves Biggio, so he's probably eating that up. What I just said there.
10 total errors in the game. Wow, I hope that is not the case. That would be a lot of errors. Bidger's gonna.
Good thing we won't have to watch it. We'll
have to listen to all these errors.
We won't have to watch it.
Barger's gonna reap the benefits of batting behind Biggio. That's a sentence that I didn't think we would hear.
Eric has been lobbying for Kevin Biggio.
He's been doing great, Eric.
Two-hole.
He's been doing.
He wants him in the 2-hole in the starting lineup on opening day.
It's honestly great. Go
ahead. Yeah. I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's been very good in the spring. He's been very, very good in the spring.
There's been a lot of standouts this spring. It's honestly great to see Biggio doing well. As I'm still holding a hope for him in dynasty leagues. Yeah, a lot of people are lobbying for him. Jansen with a home run, a single, and a double. So a triple shy of the cycle for Matthew Jones. I respect it. But let's move in to the chat Q&A portion of the stream, and I will quickly loop back to Brian's question, which was at the start. It's basically just asking, Peter, I'll ask you this, and I think we have the same answer. The best way to tell, obviously these pitchers are, playing against, not the best hitting lineups. So what's the best way to tell if a pitcher is, how they're doing when you're not going up against major league lineups? And the answer is just looking at the stuff and you can look at advanced analytics as well, but just the eye test for spring training.
Exactly, and obviously the hitters are not going to be the same caliber that you'll face throughout the regular season, but you want to see if the mechanics are there. You want to see if the rhythm is there. So, are they taking as much time as they're allowed in between pitches? Because you don't want to see that. That means that they're overthinking or they're trying to overthrow. Another tell is, are they throwing a lot of strikes? So it's all about control. It's all about movement early on in the spring, and then the velocity comes a little bit later on. You're not going to be throwing as hard as you can to start the season, but you just want to see some good things and having efficient innings. So, not what we saw from Kevin Gausman and Alek Manoah. You want to be having those 12 to 15 pitch innings, and that's usually a pretty good sign that a pitcher is getting there.
Yeah, I agree. And we're 5 minutes away from first pitch, so we'll answer all your questions for the last 5 because we did start a couple minutes late, so we'll stay for a couple of extra minutes here, especially because it's not televised. But Nicholas Ruck saying Drew Hutchison 2 scoreless innings is his bold prediction. We'll come back maybe tomorrow in tomorrow's pregame. We'll see. But okay. Carol asking, do you think we're a better team this year than last year, even with all the trades? I think at the end of the day, we are much better defensively and more balanced lineup. So I think Peter would agree with that, as we've discussed that a few times. Yeah. But in general, definitely better. Ocean View Coffee Crew saying hopefully Vladdy's injury doesn't linger. X-rays were negative. He is withdrawing from the World Baseball Classic. In case any of you missed the start, he is withdrawn from the World Baseball Classic. And thank you, Brian. We appreciate it. It's we're loving the pre-games.
Matthew Moore here says, what happens to Trevor Richards? It seems every reliever who had the ball so far has been way better, has had better stuff. Now, Nick, I was thinking to myself yesterday, there are probably 8 spots in the bullpen, right? Okay, so you have 13 position players on your roster and 13 pitchers on your 26-man squad. So of those 13 position players, I think 12 are filled, and there's a battle for that final roster spot. I think we can all agree on that. Your 5 starters, you know who they're going to be. It's Kikuchi, Barrios, Bassett, Manoah, and Gausman. So now you're up to 18 players. You still have 8 pitchers. Now, the bullpen arms that you have confirmed that are going to make the team: Jordan Romano, Jimmy Garcia, Anthony Bass, Eric Swanson,
Tim Mesa,
Adam
Adam Simber.
Simber. So that's six. And then the last two are kind of up in the air, right? So you would probably lean towards Trevor Richards right now because he's out of options.
Mitch White, I
But let's
think.
say let's say he's not. Yeah, let's say he's not a guarantee to make it. Who are those? Who's filling out your two bullpen spots there
Yeah,
for
so
you?
for me, I'm just gonna go with so assuming Richards is not there, I'm gonna go with Mitch White and Nate Pearson. Those are my two, and I think it's pretty obviously Zach Pop is I would love to pick him, but I saw a tweet yesterday from I don't know who it was, it may have been Keegan Matheson and Josh Goldberg. It was essentially that Mitch White he can start games, and that provides tons of value in itself, as no one else in the bullpen can really do that, and he's out of options, and we traded assets for him, so him there, I feel like I think he's a lock for the bullpen, anyways. And then I
You
guess the
think
other,
so?
I think so to start the season and it might change depending on what happens. But the other option is he just gets sent away and
Yeah.
for nothing.
I don't know,
And then
man. I
I
don't
don't think
know.
that's what they should do, but I think that's what the Blue Jays are going to do. And then I think hopefully Nate Pearson starts to. Those are my two. You guys can answer in the chat as well. I would love Zach Pop. I think it'll be a very different look though from the start of the season to even after the deadline.
Right now, as it stands at the moment, I'm going with Julian Fernandez and Nate Pearson for my two final spots.
Yeah,
And Trevor Richards, he can go. We've seen enough out of the last two seasons, I think.
I
And
agree.
it's not to say he's a bad pitcher. His stuff is actually very good, but he tends to leave pitches over the middle of the plate, and his control is just not what it needs to be for a guy that doesn't throw that hard. Mid 90s, okay, 94, 95. So, he's I don't know. I'm going with Julian Fernandez because he's impressed me the most out of any of the relievers, even more than Nate Pearson, I think. And then Nate Pearson because the
Yeah,
stuff is just so good. And if you're worried about getting rid of Trevor Richards because of the amount that you've invested into him, then should you not give a roster spot to Nate Pearson? You've held him in the minors for so many years, and you got to give him a shot to make the team at some point, right?
I think no, yeah, I think Nate Pearson is definitely hopefully gonna make it, and I think Trevor Richards is the man out. I just think that the Blue Jays can do enough to justify a spot for Mitch White that I think they will, only because
But
no one else can start.
do we trust maybe Adam Simber in a long relief role? Like, or is that like a by committee type thing?
That I mean, and
Because
that's the thing. If
are
they
are
get
we
rid of,
banking
yeah, yeah.
are we banking on like our starters to at least go 5 innings?
Yeah, but you have to you still have to have someone in case an injury
You
happens or
do,
something. But
you
then the
do.
question is, it's just a matter of if they think maybe Nate Pearson could be that guy, which is also possible if he can go 3 to 4 innings and then you do by committee. But I don't know. I feel like for the start of the season they don't want to give up on Mitch White, especially because I don't know. I think they keep him on the team. But I agree. If we're looking at a perfect world, I think Nate Pearson and Julian Fernandez has impressed a bunch, and he's out of options, so that's kind of probably the best.
No, not Julian, not Julian. Junior,
Junior's out of
Junior,
options, but either way, I
Junior.
think Julian
Yeah.
stays up, and then Zach Pop has options, so I think he's going to start in AAA, and I think that's kind of what the consensus is. Even though he has some of the best stuff and one of the best pitches too, you can argue that
Yeah.
his sinker slider thing is very very good as well. But Nate
Because
Pearson,
right now,
go ahead.
all the indications are pointing towards Trevor Richards and Mitch White when he does get healthy, making the team. So, like, let's say Mitch White starts on the disabled list or the injured list to start the season, then I guess a Nate Pearson is next in line. But then you still don't have a long man. So I don't know. It's interesting because there's so much depth and it's gonna be very interesting to monitor, and there's just so many options, and you don't want to see guys like Nate Pearson or Julian Fernandez just rotting away in the minor leagues because
I
they're too good for that.
Yeah, Rachid Singh, I understand not giving up on White right away, but Nate should be on the roster. Pearson should make the pen. I think Nate Pearson for the long relief role. Yeah, and honestly, I would be pretty shocked if they don't give Nate Pearson that final spot because, I mean, if they don't give it to him now, when are they going to give him that opportunity? Because, I mean, I may be waiting for an injury, but you'd assume they're going to make some more additions at the deadline. So, I don't know. I think they call him up. I think Nate Pearson starts the season
Mhm.
with the Blue Jays. And we'll answer a few more questions before I wrap up here, as the game is about to start. But of course, it's on radio, so I know a lot of you guys are enjoying the stream. So we'll stay live for a few more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. But I don't know. That was a good question.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they Tiedemann by midseason. By Zach is asking as well, and
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
there's so many options. What's up, Owen? There's so many options.
What
Pearson
do you
could be.
think of this,
Go
Nick?
ahead.
What do you think of this option over here? So, I was also thinking to myself yesterday, this is what I do late at night, you know?
Think about the
I
Jays.
bleed Blue Jays. I just always think about this team, and sometimes they make me miserable, sometimes they make me very happy. But what do you think of trading Adam Simber for, I don't know, a lefty masher in the outfield, and then calling up one of your guys for the bullpen?
Yeah, I like it. And I mean, that was something we
What
discussed in the offseason that they didn't do. And there still is time to do that. It's not like there's a trade deadline or anything right now yet. But yeah, and Adam Simber, we don't forget that he was very valuable for the Jays last year. I think he led the team in innings
he
pitched.
was.
Led
It's
the team in
very
innings
good.
pitched, high 2 ERA. He was very, very good. Obviously, though, he doesn't have that flashy stuff, but you could probably get someone fairly good for him. I don't know. That's kind of the question
Mhm.
now of the offseason, is what they're going to do with the last spot, because they are stacked. AAA is absolutely stacked in the bullpen. AAA bullpen, we spoke about on yesterday's stream, is almost as good as some major league bullpens, and they have more
Yeah.
velocity than our major
Yes.
league bullpen, which obviously is not better, but I don't know. It's like very, very interesting. Pearson's stuff seems like a setup guy. His control is the only, is literally his only issue is his control. If he had great control, he would
Mhm.
be phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think Pearson. I mean, Simber is pretty valuable. Okay, and he's not a high leverage guy.
No.
He's more of a middle relief guy, and he was being forced into those seventh, eighth innings last year, and he shouldn't have been. It was basically by out of necessity that they were doing that. So I think now you have enough high leverage arms like Anthony Bass for a full season, Eric Swanson for a full season, another year of Jimmy Garcia, Jordan Romano is more comfortable in that bullpen now. So you have those four high leverage arms, and you pair Tim Meza in there, who now doesn't have to get put into high leverage situations either. He can be a mid relief guy as well. So I think Adam Simber is kind of the odd man out because his he's valuable. He's valuable, but he can get you a player that'll probably help you out a lot more than he'll help out in the bullpen, I feel.
Yeah, everyone moves down one. Everyone moves down one slot. Besides, obviously, the guys in the eighth and ninth. Especially, we don't even know who is going to be the eighth inning man yet, which is kind of funny to think about. You would expect it's going to be. Also, did we mention Anthony Bass in our
I
bullpen?
did.
Okay,
I
so
did. Yes.
he's
Yes. Yes.
probably our
Yes.
seventh inning guy. Swanson eighth inning, which moves Jimmy Garcia down to the sixth inning. Or sorry, the seventh
That's
inning. Or
gross.
no, it is the
That's
sixth inning.
that's 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 awesome. That's an amazing
the
one, two, three,
probably the
four that
best.
you have
Yeah,
there.
it's one of the best. I guess. Yeah, one, two,
Yes.
three, four in the majors. Plus, Eric Swanson has the stuff last year to be, not a closer, but he's a very, very good pitcher. And obviously, Anthony Bass had a phenomenal year as the Jays go down in order with Kevin Kiermaier and Danny Jansen striking out. So the Kevin Kiermaier prediction for me is not looking.
Biggio? What did Biggio
Biggio
do?
flied out to the shallow infield
Oh,
there.
oh God. It's
Swanson,
over,
yeah.
boys. Bold prediction. It's over.
But yeah, the game is starting now, so we'll let you all go enjoy it, go listen to it, or maybe use your sports apps and look that way. But it was a very good stream, lots of engagement. You guys seem to like him a lot. Make sure to hit
Yeah.
the like button before we sign off here. But it was good. It's we haven't had a stream in a little bit that was a lot of discussion based. So we're gonna have one of those. Maybe on one of their off days, we'll have one of the longer streams for like an hour where we can just talk to you.
Hmm.
Talk to you guys. I do miss that. But Peter, do you have anything? Brian saying the team could be great. It's so exciting. Do you have anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, like this stuff is all mind-boggling, and we don't know what we're gonna do with the bullpen situation and how we're gonna handle all of that if we were in the manager's chair right now, but we're not. So it's just great to admire all the depth on this team, and it's a good problem to have. It's not it's something that's very good, something that we can look forward to, and something that'll help the Jays when injuries arise, and players will get their chances. If they don't make the team out of camp, then they will get a chance sometime throughout the season. There's 162 games, and we'll probably get a pretty good look at everyone that we want to survey this year.
Yeah, and I would say that I would bet that the the bullpen at the start of the year, on whenever it is March 3rd, whatever the opening day is very, very different than it will be at the end. And Michael Hannon with a good point. And with the final question before we wrap up is, what happens when Chad Green comes back? And there's another.
There you go.
There's another one.
There's another one.
He's coming back, I think, after the All-Star break sometime if everything goes well, and he's getting a spot.
Gonna have to send Jordan Romano down to the minor
At this
leagues.
point.
I mean, it's like, it's just crazy. It's good. It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. And thank you guys for tuning in. Kara, what do you think of the schedule with us playing more National League? I'm excited to see more games against different teams, change it up from playing the Orioles so many times and the Rays, but it's gonna be exciting. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been great, and I guess we'll see you in the post game video tonight if you tune into that, as we'll break down what happens in this game, and hopefully the Jays get some exciting stuff. Maybe Drew Hutchison has a good outing, and hopefully Addison Barger hits a home run as he's about to come up now after this half inning. So we'll let you guys go. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in maybe in tomorrow.